Hey y'all, welcome to our YouTube channel, Three Sassy Sisters. We're back. Today we're going to talk about what to expect after expecting. We're going to talk about the whole postpartum ordeal, like what happens after you have your baby. Mainly for the mother's point of view, and we're going to do it from the 20s to the 30s to the 40s/50s. Each point of view is going to be different. We will bring you some good information here. So, who wants to kick it off first and just talk about their experience and what happened?
I can go. I can go because they probably not even doing what they did 20 something years ago with me. So, okay, actually, it's gonna be a little bit different for me. So delivery was rough for me. I had my son DJ at about it's probably maybe about 27, 28. Anyways, he's 22 now. So I had complications after delivery. My pregnancy was fine. I gained a lot of weight. I went to a network of doctors, and so everybody told me a lot of different things. So I didn't monitor and stay on top of things like I really should have. Now if I was pregnant now, you know better, you do better. But with me, I didn't know enough being pregnant. I was away from family. I was upstate. We were by ourselves. So their dad and I was just really just kind of figuring it out in the dark, alone. So the weight gain, I saw different doctors probably at all of my visits. And you have to go to the doctor every so often, and then it picks up near the end of delivery. But every time I saw a different doctor in the group that would tell me one thing and would tell me the next thing. But anyways, so when it got to delivery, I ended up having to have a C-section. So I had some complications with that. I think I had to have 2 epidurals, if I'm not mistaken. And everything was fine. Ended up having the C-section. So when we talk about bringing the baby home, that's when it really all kicked off for me. I couldn't go home. I developed an infection. So we were at the hospital maybe 4 to 5 days, and everything was fine as well. But I had a lot of swelling, like a lot of swelling. My legs and everything, my blood pressure, trying to get that under control. I ended up going home. And so when I went home, that's when it really kicked up. I ended up being in a hospital for at least 3 or 4 weeks after delivery. So postpartum for me, on top of all that, was definitely a real thing. On top of all that, I was away from my baby. I didn't get to bond with him within those couple of weeks because I was sick. I was very sick. So my experience was a little bit rough with him. Now, my second experience is no problems, no issues with my daughter, who's now 17. But that was a rough period for me, guys. That was really, really rough. That was really rough.
If you don't mind sharing, and you don't have to, what type of infection did you establish?
You know what, Shonda? I'm going to be so honest. I don't even know. That's how out of it I was. I really don't know. I don't know where the infection stem from. I actually forgot a part. I ended up having to go back to the hospital to have the DNC because there were particles there. That's probably what it was. I'm going to say there were particles that were still left after delivery. And then they put me on a medicine, antibiotic, which was toxic, and it's no longer on the shelf right now. So I had complications of everything, y'all. I think I was away from DJ for a while. But to be honest, I really don't know what. I really can't say right now. Like, why did I have an infection? I don't know. One night in North Carolina, and I was like, hey, I cannot get my blood pressure down. What to do? He said, you got to come in. You got to come in. We got to get your blood pressure down. And so I said, wait, can I just come tomorrow? I haven't seen my kid. I have not seen my kid. I hadn't bonded with him. I wanted to try to do the skin to skin. I hadn't had the opportunity. And so I did wait till the next day, and I just went in, but I just felt like that postpartum was the least of my worries. I had to do it with health first before I can even get to the fact of all those other experiences. Oh, honestly, I didn't get better until I came home. And that was the honest, because dad took me to the no, actually one day, and I had dizziness a lot after the complications. So I was at home one day with Shonda and a cousin of ours, and I had that dizziness, and I cried because I called mom. I said, "Mom, you left me with them. I need."
I
And so dad had to come take me to the hospital, and I said, "Hey, it's spinning. The room is spinning." And the neurologist ended up giving me I can't remember what it was called, giving me something to stop the spinning of the room. Yeah, I mean, like vertigo was heavy for me. Like, oh, I don't want to take up all the time, y'all, because this story could be long. I really should have been the end kid. But I remember DJ being a baby, and their dad worked like he worked. He was far. He wasn't close, but he had to drive back because I had to call him because the room wouldn't stop spinning. And I said, "Hey, I can't. I have to go to the doctor. The room won't stop spinning." And it was the craziest thing. DJ laid there, and he it's almost like he knew I couldn't take care of him because I couldn't pick him up if he started crying because the room was spinning. But he was a good baby. He just laid there until his dad came. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything, y'all. I was like, I can't pick him up if he starts crying. I can't feed him because the room was spinning. So yeah. So my experience was different. My experience was different.
All right, Shonda, let's do it.
Okay, well, y'all know my baby is 7. So I had her, I think I was like 30, 31 or whatever. 31, I can't. This is how it goes. I don't even remember. 30, 31 or whatever. But my intentions were to go in and have a natural birth. That's what I said. That's what I wanted. That's what I told my mom. That's what I told the nurse. And that's what I told my primary gynecologist. And I even told my primary gynecologist, you know how you have to visit all the doctors before you, and I told her, I said, I can visit them, but if you're not delivering my baby, I'm not having it. And I knew, and I was like, if you're not there, I'm not having it. She was like, you still got to go through the process. She said, I can't make any promises, but she said, but I'll be there. You'll be okay with everybody. So the big day comes, and she already had told me that I had to probably have a C-section or whatever. But, me still going in thinking like, hey, everything is good. I probably could still have my natural, birth or whatever. So the doctor that I met prior, the one that I was like, okay, if they don't do anything, just don't give me this stuff.
Okay.
And guess who was on call?
That doctor.
So she comes or whatever, and so she tries to see if I'm, dilated anything or whatever. So she goes in and she breaks my water, and then she leaves. So I'm like, okay, this is overnight. Like, what are we supposed to do? So she breaks it, and then I think that's when I vaguely remember. So she breaks the water. So I guess I'm in labor overnight. I don't know. So at this point, I'm like, hey, I think I need an epidural. So I get an epidural. So time goes on. Still no baby. They said I was 7. I died. I think she said I was like 7 centimeters, but in actuality, I was only 3 being
dilated.
Dilated. Yeah, she said I dilated like 7 centimeters, but in actuality, it was only 3. So overnight, we're sitting there in the hospital, and my primary doctor comes in that morning, first thing in the morning, and she's talking to me so calm. She was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was just like, "Hey, I'm just waiting for my baby. That's it." So she said, "So this is what we're gonna do." She said, "I moved all my C-sections, my C-sections down or whatever." She said, "You're so special. I'm gonna bump you up because you gotta have one right now." So I was looking around like, "Wait, what?" or whatever. So she broke it down. She said, "Don't panic." So she tells me not to panic, but she said your baby was in distress all night. So overnight, after she broke the water and disappeared, my baby was in distress. So I had to have an emergency C-section. So doing that, I think my mom or whatever, we went in or whatever, and so she came and she was like moving everything down. We're gonna have an emergency one. I'm starting to cry now. Like, this is not how I planned for it to go. So I go back to the room, the operating, and so she's doing her cutting, and I'm just standing there, and I'm like, just laying there. And this was the longest, I don't even know if it was a minute, a second that I've ever experienced. So she pulls the baby up, and you can kind of feel that little pressure where she's sucking the baby out. And my mom's just sitting there, and you could just see her face, like she's looking like this, still won't move. So I was like, Mom, I said, I can't hear her. Is she crying? I said, what's she doing? And my mom was just, if you could just see her, I still can actually see her face. She's just standing there. And I was like, Mom, I can't move. And I was like, Mom, I don't hear her. She's not crying. I said, Mom, what's wrong with my baby? So now I'm starting to panic, and I'm crying. I'm like, Mom, what's wrong with my baby? What's wrong with my baby? And my mom was just still sitting there. And then I said, Mom, is she okay? She was like, she's okay. But I was like, well, Mom, I don't hear her crying. And I still didn't hear her crying because they were working on her, trying to revive her and bring her back. And that was just like the longest seconds. I don't even know if it was minutes or whatever, but I knew something was wrong. So I could see in my mom's face, and she just didn't want to tell me. But they were working on her, trying to revive her. But I didn't know until after the fact. She held her up. My mom tried to take a picture or whatever, and I think y'all were there. And I didn't see her like after I gave birth to her. And that's when her doctor her pediatrician came in, and he was like, that's when he told me like she was flatlined and they had to revive her, resuscitate her. So this is the first time I'm hearing like, you got to resuscitate my child. Like I panicked, and I just broke down because I didn't know. And I had to have like 2 epidural. So, and then after that, it was crazy. The postpartum kicked in. I'm like, dang, y'all gonna leave me? Y'all gonna let me take the baby home? I'm like, I ain't never did this before. Everything just kind of kicked in or whatever. And with the epidural, I will say this, like some of the side effects that I didn't know about or whatever, like I know I had like an allergic reaction because my skin had turned red. But after doing research, I know that one of the side effects is itchy skin, and it felt like my skin was on fire. And my hair fell out, like my edges and stuff. I don't have edges to this day because of that. My beautician at the time, when I started going back, and she was like, "Can I ask you a question?" She said, "Did you have an epidural?" I said, "Actually, I had to have 2." She said, "I can tell because my hair was just coming out." So it's just all these things or whatever that they don't really tell you about or whatever. Yeah. Dealing with pregnancy and stuff. So it was rocky. It wasn't a walk in the park. Even when she came home, we were all there on shift. I didn't know what to do. I remember Andy was, so I was like, hey, I'm better in the morning. My duty is in the morning.
So I am just rocking.
She was like, she won't stop crying. She was like, well, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, I don't know
either. And then Kayla held it down though. Kayla held it down.
And I have to give credit where credit is due, and that's why they're so close today. My niece held it down and actually was taking care of her because for one, I had blew up so much that I couldn't walk my feet. It was just a lot going on, whatever. And Kayla was holding it down, like always. Mm-hmm. Let me take care of her, changing the diapers. She's like, Auntie, she's crying again. She needs to be fed. This is her milk schedule. Are you pumping? And I'm like, this girl is on it. But somebody had to be, because I didn't know if I was coming or going, to be honest. Those first couple of weeks, months, it was chaos. So,
that's my story when you said Madison was crying, and you was like, Mom, Madison crying. He's like, wait, this is my baby.
Yeah, and that's when I'm telling you, that's when the postpartum kicked in. I never forget. So it was the next night, and I was in the bed, and Maddie was in the little crib thing, and Mom was tired because Mom was holding it down. She had been with me that entire time, and she didn't get any sleep. So she was really in a deep sleep. Like she was snoring. She was so tired. So I'm just sitting there watching. I don't even know if I'm watching TV. I'm just sitting there, and she's crying. Like, warming it up. So I'm like, Mom, she's crying. Mom, get up. So I'm like, Mom, you got to get up. So I'm calling her. She sits, and I'm like, I can't get this baby. And I said, Mom, you got to get up. And I thought about it. Shonda, this ain't your mama, baby. This your baby. You got to get her. But here's the thing. I was so mad at my mom. Like, why would you go to sleep if you know we got this baby right here? But it wasn't even her baby. It was my baby. But mom was tired, and I was like, Mom, get up. Like I was trying to look for something I could throw over there to like wake her up. But girl, I had to muster up that strength. I had to scoot up and scoot over there, and I just put her on my chest, man. I was livid at my mom. I was like, why would you go to sleep? Why? And this baby's crying. It wasn't her baby. It was yours. So it was crazy. That's when reality kicked in and the postpartum and all that. Like, gosh.
How was it for you? Sorry, with breastfeeding? Were you able to breastfeed right there at the hospital or no?
To me, because this is what it was. When Madison was in my stomach, I had an affirmation. We do not buy milk. It is produced in me. I used to tell her this in the shower. I have your food. This is what you're going to take. I would tell her that every day. Every day. We do not buy milk. It is in me. And honestly, she latched on. Because I guess she was like, first of all, they don't left me here with this chick. And I ain't trying to deal with her. So she latched on, and I dated for about 9 to 10 months until I stopped producing.
That's good. That's good.
I couldn't get DJ to breastfeed at all. He was lazy. But I had other complications he wouldn't have been able to. Kayla, I couldn't get it to come either. So what did you do to like get your milk to come? What did you do, Shonda?
I did this thing. I think I was taking mother's milk tea, and then I used to massage. But you remember that first time I thought I had like cancer because it was my milk ducts were clogged up.
Oh, girl. Oof.
And I'm sitting here like, okay, sorry about that, y'all. But my ducts were clogged up, and it felt like rock. See, being a new mom, you don't know. And,
Yes.
I honestly rushed to the hospital and was like, I think I got cancer, y'all. I think my breast this is something or whatever. And they were like, no, your ducts, you got to pump. You got milk filled up.
Gotta get it out.
Yeah, but breastfeeding was new to me. I didn't know anything about lactation or whatever. But I used to drink tea and put warm rags on it and massage or whatever, just to get the milk to flow. But she already knew we weren't doing it all the way. So, hey, you want to eat? Here it is.
See, I had to buy the formula. That formula was expensive, y'all. And Kay had to have a special formula.
Girl,
that was another thing. We couldn't afford formula. I can afford formula.
That formula is expensive, like for real.
But that's my story.
Okay, y'all. Here y'all go. Here we go. So for me, I'm like you, Shonda. I wanted an all natural birth. I mean, I seriously want, if I could have had it my way, I would have wanted it to be like, like a water birth, with the pool and stuff like that. But it was so much going on. AB was still in Alaska. And then it was like the week he came back from Alaska, that's when I started having contractions. And I'm sitting there just waiting, like, okay, y'all, this is the time. Like, and I just remember we had a big old barbecue. So I was eating hot dogs, hamburgers. Like, I was really grubbing. Like, I was throwing down. Then I was like, dang, y'all, hold on. Something not right. Like, I'm having contractions. Man, this is my first contraction. Something should have told me to just stay home. Like, stay there. But I'm excited. First contraction. Let's go. Okay, we get to the hospital. And she's like, sister girl, this is Braxton Hicks. Like, you're not even halfway ready, but you can't go nowhere because your blood pressure is high. I said, what you mean my blood pressure is high? Them doggone hot dogs I had and hamburgers. Yeah, all that stuff I ate. I was like, man, my blood pressure is high. So they wouldn't let me leave. So I said, okay, fine, whatever. I stayed there. As I stayed there, progressed, it was like 2 or 3 days. I'm still in the doggone hospital, still no baby. And I know, remember, y'all kept coming each and every day, And long story short, she wasn't ready to come out at the time. She just wasn't ready. So they came in. I seen the whole team of doctors. Like, I had one doctor that I really wanted to deliver my baby. But by the time I was there, it was like a whole week. And I seen every single doctor in the rotation. It was like, this last doctor, he was really stern with me. He was like, look, you've been in the hospital for 7 days now. I mean, it's time. Like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I want to go back home. If I'm not having a baby here, I want to go back home. No, you can't go back home. Your blood pressure is still high. I'm like, okay. And I was like maybe 2 days past my due date or whatever like that. So he had to induce me at the time. So he had to, he didn't break my water, I don't think. It was just, I was so blurry, y'all. I'm trying to think about it. Like, dang. No, he didn't have to break my water. He did induce me. And I didn't even want that because I wanted an all natural birth. Like I'm sitting here like on the ball, like bouncing. I'm sitting here taking a shower. Like I'm having some heavy contractions, but I still wasn't dilated. That was the biggest thing. Like I needed to be dilated. So they had to induce me so I can be dilated. After they did induce me, I think he did have to go in there, check my cervix, and it was a little bit dilated. So they had to continue to wait. And I finally was ready to have Araya. And when I had Araya, I wanted it to be all natural, but they had to give me the epidural because I already had the induction or whatever it is. Had to get the epidural, and I pushed literally for 2 hours. I pushed and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed. And I'm like, y'all, she coming out. And I had my gospel music going on, had my aromatherapy going on, I had AD right here on the side. Like AD, we're not getting a C-section. I kept telling him we're not getting a C-section. I had his mama, my mama, we're all right there. I'm like, I'm pushing and nothing is happening. The nurse looking at me like, then the other nurse, she come in there. She was so sweet. I don't know her name. She came in and she said, look, it's okay. People get C-sections all the time. You have to do what's best for your baby. So she kind of just talked some sense into me because at that time I wasn't listening to nobody else.
No, you weren't.
I wasn't. Like I was head on. We are getting this natural birth, and that's it. Whatever. I had a section, and then when I did, I was so tired from pushing. Like I'm halfway asleep. Like I think I was asleep the whole time. And then when Araya came out, I don't know, I instantly just woke up and I just kept saying, like y'all can ask AD, I kept saying, where's my baby? Where's my baby? Where's my baby? And she's right there. I can see her through the little plastic and she's like screaming and, crying and stuff like that. And I'm like, give me my baby, y'all. Hurry up, give me my baby. They're looking at me like, look now, calm down. But after that, the funniest thing happened. After all that labor, all that pushing, we've been in the hospital for a whole 7 days. Maybe we finally get into a room. And AD tells me, okay, babe, you've been pushed in, you did labor, you get your rest. I got a riot for the night. I said, okay. So I lay down. He lay down, I lay down. Araya sleep. Girl, she started crying. Them cries was like, when? And I'm like, oh, okay. I said, AD, get Araya. I'm half asleep. I said, okay, you said you're gonna get her. Go get her, AD, come get her. She's still crying. I said, dang, AD, can you come get her? Still crying. I'm like, okay. And I'm yelling at this time, AD, can you come get her? And he's still asleep. Like he is literally knocked out. He's just as tired as I am, cold stone, knocked out. So I had to push the button for the nurse to wake him up so he can get her. Because I just had that C-section. I literally could not even get out the bed to even get her. So he finally got her. And it was a wrap after that. It was no more sleep after that. Like it was no more. Like that was it.
We told you.
All done.
All right.
After you have a kid.
Never
Still to this day, no sleep.
Like, Amber, I have one question for you.
What?
How are you able to text us talking about she's not coming out, she's stuck with the shoulder? I said, this girl is gangster.
Girl, I was literally
she texted like
I was
on
pushing.
Remember, she was texting us, was like, y'all keep praying, she won't come out. I'm pushing, she's stuck right here with her shoulders. And we were playing like, okay, we're praying.
Girl, I'm texting like boom, boom, boom. I'm still pushing and say push contraction. And I'm texting.
In labor.
Girl, I was trying to get them prayers going. I was trying to get the prayer circle going because I did not want to go get that C-section.
I didn't want to have a cell phone.
Yeah, just cover it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care what they was gonna let me do. I was trying to get this prayer circle going. This prayer circle needed to happen, okay? It needed to happen.
Labor. I was like, I was out. I don't even remember.
I think we said
What'd
that.
you say,
I think we said, how is MB texting? We were all.
That's what I said. I was telling folks at work. I said, my sister's so gangster. If y'all keep messing with me, she gonna come up here and fight y'all. She can text during labor while having contractions and doing all of this.
But honestly, y'all, the contractions, they were bad, but I really could have did a natural labor. I know some women say they can't, some women say they can, but I could have did a natural labor. Like they were bad, but I really wish I could have, but it's in God's will.
I know the feeling. I feel the same way. I mean, the contractions were, boy, it felt like a truck was running. Well, mine was running over me, but it was a quick, hit.
Yeah.
It was out. And so I was like, man, so I was really upset that I couldn't do a natural. That was my whole main goal.
Quick
Um,
question. Postpartum for you, did you have postpartum? Did you experience any postpartum?
okay, postpartum for me. As a new mom, like just like y'all, I didn't know what to expect. Like I watched tons of YouTube videos, didn't know what to expect. Postpartum depression was one of the things I heard to watch out for. Um, but nobody ever talked about doggone sleep deprivation. Like that was the biggest thing for me, sleep deprivation.
Mm.
Araya breastfed, and she would always wake up every 2 hours, and AD would be right there asleep, and I'll wake him up. I'm like, AD, can you get her? He'll have her. She's still crying. I'm like, she wants food. I gotta feed her. She wants me. So it was me waking up every 2 hours to feed her. It was, that he was there for support, but nothing he could do because she wanted some milk. You know what I'm saying? So that was postpartum for me. My biggest struggle was sleep deprivation. I do think it was a hint of postpartum depression when it came to just like I wouldn't say it was me being sad. It was just me being irritable. But I don't know if that was coming with the sleep deprivation or if it was postpartum depression. But I was just so irritable. Like I was really snappy, like just I don't know, irritable. And I don't know. But that was my biggest thing with me. What about y'all?
I know I experienced that. I think Sean, when we were sitting in the hospital, we were just talking. The next thing I know, I just started crying. And then he would say, depression can happen at any time. I was just crying because I'm thinking yo, I'm somebody's mom. Like this person is going to rely on me and she's going home with me. They're trusting her with me. And it was just a lot. And then by me being, my situation was different from y'all. Like, I'm a single parent or whatever. So I just looked at it like, oh my gosh, I'm really going to have to do this on my own. And that's when the depression and the postpartum, and I was like, I felt like my life wouldn't jump back to being the old Shonda, or I'm just giving up everything, or I'm not going to find, it was so many thoughts, of guilt or me not being, I guess, married, or just, I had so many thoughts going through my mind about how my life was going to completely change. I was afraid of just growing up. I was like, man, I don't want to screw up this little girl life. But it was just a lot of depression. But I bounced back, man. It is what it is.
Can't say. I can't honestly with DJ, I didn't have time. I was trying to pray for help. Yeah, I need to be there. So I didn't have time to be depressed about that. That was the least of my issues. And with Kayla, I can't even really say that I had postpartum with her a lot because I had a lot on my plate because I was still in school. I got to get back to school in 6 weeks. So I had school. I was still working. I had DJ, being married. I didn't have time. So I can't say postpartum for me was like, oh, or whatnot. I just jumped right into reality. I mean, this is your plate. This is the cards you were dealt. You need to deal with them. So I didn't have postpartum.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I'm so sad about, was it rough? Absolutely. You better believe it. But I didn't have time to, I just didn't. I just didn't have time to, girl, this is your kid. Get with it, So, yeah.
Yeah. I think it affects people differently because as I think about it after y'all talking, I think my other feeling besides just feeling irritable was also feeling overwhelmed. Like it was like I got this, I got that, I got this, like just overwhelmed, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't have time to process how to deal with that emotion. So that was the biggest thing. Like it all played a part. So I just felt like I was just constantly like moving, never had time to just like exhale. Like I would literally try to spend at least 30 minutes in the shower just so I can just get my thoughts together. That was my thing. I just want to just take a shower. Let me just take a shower. if you looking for me, I'll be in the shower because I need to get my mind together,
Yeah. I can say I think that's the better word, overwhelmed, and I think that's what we probably all were. It's overwhelming, but it's being a new mom is super overwhelming because they don't give you a book. They don't really say anything. They just let you leave the hospital with this kid. You don't know about feeding. I mean, they try to have a nurse that comes in and of course tell you this and tell you that. But in a nutshell, it's just you and that baby.
Mhm.
And so you just kind of have to figure it out as you go. But the beauty of it is, I think that the Lord has equipped moms to just be that, figure it out as it goes.
Yeah.
I
That
mean,
mother instinct just kick
it
in, just
just,
boom.
yeah, it really does.
But I look at that instinct as a gift and a curse, because we as mothers think, I don't know why, that we have to put on this soup, this cake.
Yes.
And when
Yes,
that baby comes, that's our baby, nobody else. I can
girl.
do it. I
Yeah.
can take care of it. I got this and I got that. And the key of it is support. Like, that is the key thing, having that support system or whatever, because you will drive yourself insane to feeling overwhelmed, to being irritable, to having that postpartum depression, because you're trying to take on too much. And still to this day, as a mom, we try to be the superhero and think that we
Yeah.
can do everything. And in actuality, we're not superwoman. We're not. But that's just the way, I guess, the world has portrayed mothers to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think
You
that's,
still don't take
I
out
don't know.
the cake.
That's
20,
just that's just
25 years later, you still don't take out the cake. You still don't take out off the cake. And like when you said, oh, okay, sleep deprivation. Say for instance, if they went somewhere, something like that, like if they went out or something like that, you really still don't sleep until you know that they're okay, and you really, you know what I mean. So it's
Made
really
it home.
still right. So I'm wondering, will I ever get like a good night's sleep, like a good rest, or whatever?
but honestly, you gotta think about it. You're as a mother, you're not gonna get, I mean, just as a parent or whatever, I just want to say mother, but you're not gonna get that sleep, because you gotta think about it. Look at your mom. If you go somewhere, or if look at your mother. If you go somewhere, they'll call and text, hey, you made it in? Hey, y'all.
Mhm.
Yes.
So it's just, that's just the point of being a parent. That's why I was like, it's a gift and a curse at the same
Girl,
time.
that curse is for real. I remember when Araya just came out, and I just wanted Araya. Like, nobody could do anything right or wrong, like the perfect way. Like, if they swaddled her, I would have to go back and re-swaddle. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If they changed her diaper, I would have to go back and change the diaper. Like, it would drive me insane. And I'm like, I trusted them with her, but it's like, I don't know what it was. I mean, I've gotten better, but
like, you have to, like, that's your baby, nobody else.
yeah.
I'm the only one who can do it this way. I mean, and you still do that to this day with your kids. I mean, just look at it. If, like with me, I know my child is a picky eater, and her food has to be a certain way. So if somebody goes and fix her plate, she'll look at me, but she won't come out and say like, "Ma, I can't eat this because touch it." She'll look at me, and then I'll gently go and separate the food, wipe this part off, swap this part out, or whatever. But in actuality, she can eat it. But you just think like, I know my child, I know what she likes, I know what she likes, I know what it. It's just a motherly thing, man.
And then on top of that, for me, I didn't like nobody telling me how to take care of my child.
That's what any mother. You can say
like, it was like people would tell me, they'll tell me, you should do this, you should try this. Well, how about you do this? What you mean? No, even though I didn't know one thing about being a mom, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna figure it out myself. But I've gotten better with that. Like that's serious. I don't know what that's called, if that's even a thing, but that's a serious.
It's motherhood, because I guarantee you, your mom did the same thing. We do the
right.
Same thing. Like that's what I'm saying. Hey, this is your baby. Nobody on earth knows your baby, and still we can say this to this day. Whether they're with their dads, their grandparents, their aunts, uncles, nobody knows your baby better than you.
And so I think that's a true statement. I think nobody does. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's nothing like a mother's love. You know what I mean? So I think it's a curse, like you said, Shonda, but it's also a blessing, because you know your kid. You know your kid. You just that instinct. You feel like when they, like, if Madison cried, okay, if this is a real cry, or if this is just she's faking. You know that.
Yeah.
You kind of know the difference. Learn to cries. And that's something that dad doesn't really do, but you learn to cries. You just know your kid. And it's almost that connection. And it was crazy when Kayla would breastfeed, she would fall asleep on my breast.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
for when she was little and I would do her hair, and immediately when she connected with me, like come close and I braid her hair, she'd fall asleep. It was like almost like it's some kind of connection that you have with your kids. I don't know.
It's a sync. Yeah.
It's a thing. Yeah.
I remember me and AZ, we went out one night, just to get away. And I said, we gotta go. Araya needs to eat. And he was like, what are you talking about? I said, we need to go. Araya, it's time for Araya to eat. And like my breast started like leaking. But before it started leaking, I just felt like like I need to get to her. But even though she had bottles there, just that mother, I wanted to be there. Like I couldn't even enjoy going out because I just wanted to be close to my baby. Like it was bad. It was bad, y'all.
You're gonna still do that. And especially if when I used to travel for work out of town or just go on vacation, my mood would change and then nobody knows why, but it's like I'm missing my baby. Like, my whole entire mood was like, okay, I'm getting antsy. Like we can cut this vacation short, we can cut this business short. I got to get to my baby. And it is the crazy. I was like, it's never gonna change. She's 7, and then and as soon as we get back with each other, we ain't even friends the next 5 minutes, but we just had to be with each other for that moment.
I think this was a good topic for us to talk about, being that it's women's,
Yes.
Women's Month, right? And I think that this is a topic that a lot of people don't. We know it's an issue in many different ways for women, like complications and things of that nature across the board. And the experience is going to be different for everybody. But I think this is a good topic to talk about during this month. I would love for us to come back and just revisit and let's talk about, okay, we got the delivery, but then let's talk about what happens after that too. So hopefully we can do that soon. You guys, what do you think?
I am
Yeah.
up.
Me too. Down for it, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, guys, we hope you learned something, and of course, we know that everything is different for everybody. Everybody experience is going to be different. Everybody walk a journey, but we hope that a couple of things we want you to take with you is stay in tune during your pregnancy. Ask questions, get to know what's going on with your health. At delivery, find you one good doctor. Find you one good doctor. I think everybody on here has talked about that. Try to find you one good doctor because it makes a difference. It does make a difference. So, what to expect when you're expecting? Honestly, you can expect anything. But the key thing is to educate yourself and to stay on top of yourself. Bye bye, everybody.